Hey there, I'm KHOU 11 digital anchor Brandi Smith. Good morning to you. We are getting ready for the 2023 Downtown Rodeo Parade, which really kicks things off. Rodeo starting on Tuesday. Then we have 3 weeks of concerts, rodeo, rides, food, vendors, agriculture, everything that makes rodeo season in Houston so special. Just a heads up, as we get going on this, I have not sat in this seat and run this computer myself in probably 4 or 5 months. There may be some glitches here and there, likely very much on my own end, and I apologize in advance. Please, any patience you can send my way, I would really appreciate it. But we're going to be talking about all things rodeo as we get ready for the parade to start rolling right at 10 a.m. I'm going to give you a live shot here. And you can see the rodeo run is already underway. This is a 10K and a 5K run walk. Perfect weather, maybe a little warm to be out there. But you love to see those crowds being a part of this tradition every year. I also want to encourage you to text the word rodeo to 713-526-1111 if you are looking for any information that's rodeo related. I'm going to have Jaime throw that number in the comments. We're not on Facebook. We're on KHOU.com and KHOU11 Plus. So I will just keep repeating the number. 713-526-1111. 713-526-1111. The cool thing about this is, one, you should program that number in your phone. Just call it KHOU, because not only can you text us keywords like weather, traffic, rodeo, but you can also send us questions, comments, pictures. And so right now, I want to ask you a question. Have you text me about it? What is your favorite thing about rodeo? What is it that you look forward to most? Was it any of the things I listed before? The concerts, the rodeo itself, the vendors, the rides, the food. Food's pretty good. It's high up there for me. Getting to see kids showcasing their animals, the birthing center. Whatever you think it is that is your favorite. There's no wrong answer. Text it to 713-526-1111, and I'm going to be tracking some of those responses. So if you are getting ready for rodeo, maybe you're a first timer, maybe you just aren't a regular, Tiffany Craig has some great tips on how to prepare for this rodeo season.
Once your boots are ready to roll, it's time to get to Rodeo Houston at NRG Park. So here's the deal. If you drive yourself, it's going to cost $25 to park. One parking option is the yellow lot. That's off South Main. That's also where ride shares, Uber and Lyft are dropping off and picking up passengers. You can also park at the old Astroworld site. It's called the 610 lot. Shuttle over. Also the OST1 lot. That's Old Spanish Trail. You can catch the Metro Rail for $2.50 round trip, or you can take a Metro bus from one of 7 different park and ride locations, but the prices do vary. Okay, I have my hat on, so now let's talk about getting in. For $25, you can get in and see the concert and the rodeo. And there's a really good lineup this year. But let's say live music isn't your thing. You can still get onto the grounds for $20 for adults and $10 for children. This gives you access to everything inside NRG, the arena and the carnival. There are more than 80 rides this year and dozens of food stands. I know I just gave you a lot of information, but you can get it sent directly to your phone. Text the word rodeo to 713-526-1111 and we will send all the information back so you have it in the palm of your hand. Tiffany Craig, KHOU 11 News.
I told you, it is just that easy. Text 713-526-1111, your comments, your questions, and some of those keywords. Rodeo is a big one right now for obvious reasons. We've been counting down until the gates open on Tuesday, and earlier this week, on the 1 week mark until the rodeo opened, Janelle Bluda popped down to NRG Park to check out all of the preparations being made to turn the park into the rodeo.
A rodeo wouldn't be a rodeo without a little bit of dust. Right now, 600 dump trucks full of dirt are getting poured into the stadium. Just one of the many preps happening here at NRG. Inside NRG Center, it's a complete construction zone as vendors set up, getting ready to open just a week from now, and expect lots of new excitement this year. On opening day alone, the first 10,000 guests will get custom-made Howdy bobbleheads, and there will be a parade on March 4th. The rodeo will be having their first ever drone light show, where 200 drones will soar through the sky in different formations that embody what the rodeo stands for.
Going to have 200 drones, and they're going to make all these different kind of designs that connect to the mission of the show, which of course is promoting agriculture and giving back to the youth of Texas. So I can't wait to see that. That's going to be something really fresh and cool.
And on March 8th, the rodeo will have their first ever community day, where they will offer free admission for all guests who get here before noon. And of course, check out some of the new foods and rides coming to the carnival this year, including the new hot Nashville Cheeto chicken on a stick. You can also take a spin on the new Jurassic themed Raptor coaster or the pirate ship swinger called the Sea Ray.
I know some people go to the carnival for those rides. I don't know. I think the only thing I've hopped on is the giant air-conditioned Ferris wheel. That's the way to roll. On any day, whether it's too hot, too cold, it's raining, you just want to get out of the sun, pop into that air-conditioned Ferris wheel. It's also the tallest. It's the one with the giant H. It's pretty hard to miss, but there are 4 different Ferris wheels on the NRG Park grounds during rodeo. I'm working on several different stories, which we will eventually share on here when they're complete. They're not done yet. But in doing so, I've talked to a number of committee chairmen. These are folks who work on organizations like the Transportation Committee or the Gatekeepers Committee or the Midway Tickets Committee. And what you might not realize, I certainly didn't when I moved to Houston 8 years ago, this event is largely put on by volunteers, 35,000 of them, on 110 different committees. So when you park and you hop on that tram, the driver, a volunteer. When you go to the gate to walk through, the people greeting you, volunteer. If you get lost, you ask someone in a vest, that's directions and assistance, another volunteer. Again, thousands and thousands and thousands of people. And most committees require at least 40 hours of a commitment. Some are more. And a lot of these people are on multiple committees. So I wanted to share a little bit of one interview with Josh Reeves. I'll let him introduce himself.
I am chairman of the Graphics and Signage Committee here at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo.
What does your committee do?
So we are essentially the print shop. We've taken all of the sign needs for every event that happens in Houston or in the rodeo, and we've brought those in-house. Our goal is really to save the rodeo money. It costs a lot to put on a production like this every year, and the more money we can save, the more money eventually will end up in educational grants and scholarships and that type of deal.
Any idea how many signs, posters, flyers, banners you guys print?
We generally, by the end of the year, will do somewhere between 11 and 12,000 signs.
Wow.
And that's all different sizes, like you said, banners as well as hard signs. We try to accommodate as many special requests as we can, and we're growing. I could say I've been doing this for 13 years now, and the numbers just keep going up. Every year it's more than the last year.
How did you get involved in this committee?
Friends, you know, it's one of those deals where you meet somebody who's on rodeo and it's exciting and you start hearing about it, and they kind of bring you in and show you all the fun bits of rodeo, and the next thing you know, you're signing up yourself and working some shifts, and that's how they get you.
That's what everyone says. I mean, really, that is truly what every committee chairman said. You know, they were talking with friends who happen to volunteer, they get looped in, and then they're there for 14 years, 17 years, even longer in some cases. I just think that's so cool. I wanted to dive into a little history because Keith Tomshe, who's one of my colleagues here at KHOU 11, has been pouring through our archives from years back. I mean, not just years, decades. So we've talked about the trail rides are part of the rodeo. I should reset a little bit and say, if you're just joining us, we are getting ready for the Downtown Rodeo Parade, which should start rolling in about 5 minutes. But before it does, I want to highlight the trail ride. So this is video from 1969. This is the Saltgrass ride. It's still the largest trail ride. And these rides got their start back in 1952 when 4 men decided to ride horseback from Brenham to Houston to raise awareness about the rodeo. And a year later, 80 people showed up. It has just grown ever since. Now people, a couple thousand of them take part, and they come in from all over the country. Flashing forward a little bit, this is 1976. Maybe a little rowdier crew here. I'm not sure which ride this is, but a lot of new ones split off of Saltgrass or just started their own rides by then, if that makes sense. And I want to highlight a couple of them because I got to ride along with 4 different trail rides this year out of the 10 that made their way to Memorial Park and then will be part of the rodeo parade here in just a couple of minutes. The first one was the Texas Independence Trail Ride. So this crew took off from Lamarck on Saturday. The trail ride itself was established back in 1861. It travels about 75 miles with between 50 and 100 riders. And there is only one person who has been on every single one of the rides since it was started in 1961, and that is Juan Ochoa.
It's the crowd. I enjoyed my horseback riding. I enjoy the people. I have a lot of respect for all the riders, and they all respect me.
We seen the horses and the trails, so we decided to come over here and get out, check it out. You know, let my nieces love that type of stuff, so come to check it out.
I thought it was just really cool how many families kind of lined the route when they saw the horses coming. And you got to think about it, for a lot of folks who live in the city, it's not very often you get to see horses. So that's pretty darn cool. So that was Saturday. On Sunday, the Southwestern Trail Ride set off from West Columbia. And if you don't know where that is, neither did I until I drove out there last weekend. But this is the only trail ride with women serving as the trail boss and assistant trail boss. And they guide about 250 riders and wagons into town. Next up, the Sam Houston Trail Ride. By the time I got caught up with them, oh, that is the Independence Trail Ride. Hold on, let me show you the Sam Houston one. There it is. By the time I caught up with them on Tuesday, they were just leaving Pinehurst and arriving in Tomball for the big parade there. They started their trip Monday in Montgomery, and then one more, Prairie View. It was the first black trail ride to become part of the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, founded back in 1957, and I love this. The current trail boss, who's held the position for the past 10 years, is the son of one of the original founders of this trail ride. The crew of 300 with 9 wagons comes into town from Hempstead, so you have probably seen them if you've driven along 290 this week. That's how I spotted them. I was actually coming back from another shoot, and after they stand out. You tend to notice a crew of 350 with horses and wagons on the feeder road, but I from a distance, I was like, that's got to be Prairie View, and pulled off. And they were so generous with their time and speaking to me during their lunch break, which I love is along the 290 feeder road at a Best Buy. All of these trail rides came into town, arrived at Memorial Park on Friday ahead of the rodeo parade. And as we're getting ready to start the rodeo parade, here's a look at their arrival yesterday from Matt Doherty.
In what may have been the best weather for a rodeo trail ride in years. The teams of horses, wagons, and riders made their ways across Texas once again to Memorial Park. to commune with fellow cowboys and cowgirls, sharing awards,
We have sausage, we have homemade beans.
sharing food.
This how we eat out here on this trail ride, every day, all day.
For some, this was their first trail ride.
We're pretty much all girls, and so it's a little different because it's hard for us. You know, it's not easy to pick up a 100-pound bale of hay. It's not easy to pick up 9 gallons or 20 gallons of water jugs and pull it around. So we work together. We grab one side and grab the other side, and we sweat alongside each other, and sometimes we get to take showers and sometimes not. So we just kind of make it work.
But even with the new faces this year, several riders told us their numbers are down.
Inflation has got, you know, a sack of horse feed's $20 now, and a bale of hay is like $10 or $12 if you can find it, and so it's very noticeable. People have started having to spend their money on food and groceries.
But as expensive as it may be, there are those riders who wouldn't think of putting down their reins for anything.
We sacrifice it because we want to keep this tradition going on and on and on. So we don't want it to die.
In Memorial Park, I'm Matt Doherty, KHOU 11 News.
It is such an incredibly unique experience. So they were all in place, and now they are staged and ready for the Downtown Houston Rodeo Parade. You're looking live at the corner of Walker and Travis. We have a camera there ready just a couple blocks from the start. So the parade is set to start rolling now at 10 o'clock. You never really know if they're going to go right on time, but we do have this live camera up, and I'll keep sharing this as we check in and see who's rolling when. But if you are just joining us, the Downtown Rodeo Parade set to get rolling now. We already saw the rodeo run take off, everyone doing their 5K, 10K in pretty wonderful weather, maybe a little warm, like I said earlier. But let's talk about this year's Grand Marshal. And I promise I'm going to come back to the live picture as soon as I see the first float in there. So this year's Grand Marshal is legendary barrelman Leon Coffey. He is basically a rock star of rodeo clowns. His job's staring down bulls for a living, and he has been delighting Rodeo Houston fans for 3 decades now, 30 years. I mentioned rock star because he is a celebrity in the rodeo world. He's in the Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame. He was named PRCA Clown of the Year back in 1983. And he grew up around horses and rodeo. Coffey competed in bull riding, bareback riding, steer wrestling, calf roping growing up. And then he joined the U.S. Army for 3 years. After that, he became a bullfighter. Even if you've never been to Rodeo Houston or watched the rodeo, you've probably seen him in movies like 8 Seconds, My Heroes Have Always Been Cowboys, and Jericho. Which is very cool. Absolutely iconic. Here's our live look again. Let me tell our crew, do you want to let Eric know that I'm going to be using his live shot from here on out? Yeah, I can let him know. Okay, that we are live. Sorry, this is a team effort. I'm here running the camera. Cam's over there getting all our video sources because we have Eric Durelius here along the parade route. I'm just going to take this full. Give me one moment to switch that over. There we go. You want to see this, not me. So this is a live look again from the corner of Walker and Travis. And the first folks we have coming through, hold on, I have a whole binder of information that I get to share with you. It might take me a minute to get situated. I'm also trying not to press any buttons. Okay, it looks like that is the official HPD and Harris County Sheriff escort. You've got the U.S. Marine Corps Mounted Color Guard behind the escort, and then the University of Longhorn Band. Not sure we can hear anything. Let me turn that on. Hey guys, I apologize. You can't hear anything right now. We are troubleshooting, trying to figure this out right now. This is the Texas Longhorn Band. Please stick with us. We are going to figure this out. The Longhorn Band has received prestigious honors such as the Subler Trophy and performed at many notable occasions, including the Super Bowl and the inaugural parades of 5 presidents: John F. Kennedy, Lyndon B. Johnson, Ronald Reagan, George H.W. Bush, and George W. Bush. And there is our Grand Marshal, Leon Coffey, legendary barrelman. He's been performing at Rodeo Houston for the past 30 years. We talked about this just a minute ago, but he's really like the rock star of rodeo clowns, walking a fine line every night between, I would say, danger and delight. You know, you're a little scared for him when he's popping out of the barrel, running around. All right, up next, we've got our flag bearers. Lyrica Barcelona, Laura Fry, Morgan Van Winkle, Lindsay Schmeimek, Casey Tomlinson, and Mackenzie Thames are all carrying those flags along the parade route. I always think about their arms have to get so tired after a while, but they keep going. Behind them is the official Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo flag. It's being carried by HLSR lifetime Vice President Griffin Wynn. So he's been a member of the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo for 37 years, a lifetime member, I should add, and a member of the board of directors for 30 years. He's a past chairman of the Steer Auction and Committee, or the Steer Auction Committee, where he served for 36 years. Quite the legacy. You see a lot of the Rodeo Houston crew there, including chairman of the board, Brady Carruth. He was elected to that position in 2020. President Chris Bowman was there as well. He was announced as the president and chief executive officer of the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo in May 2020. But he actually joined the rodeo in 2017 as the executive director of the agricultural competitions and exhibits. In 2019, he was promoted to chief mission officer, and of course now he is the president and chief executive officer. The whole executive committee is out there. I don't think we've seen the First Lady's carriage yet, have we? I think this is more of the executive committee. There we go. There's the First Lady's carriage. This is Zane Carruth, the First Lady of the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. She took on that title in 2020. She's an award-winning international children's book author, founder and president of Carson Marketing LLC, a certified business etiquette and protocol professional, and she sits on numerous nonprofit boards in Houston. There you go. This is the president's wife's carriage, Randi Bowman. She's a proud graduate of Texas A&M University. Randi and her husband Chris have a combined total of 6 degrees from Texas A&M. I'm sure the university appreciates their financial support. Dr. Bowman serves as chair of the Communications and Special Services Committee. This is the committee that focuses on publicizing the show. And if you have questions throughout this, you can text 713-526-1111 with any of those questions. I did see a comment from one viewer who says they're excited about the rodeo horses. It looks like those might be some of the vice presidents of the show and the outgoing officer in charge. Long list of names there. Won't have time to get through all of them. They move by pretty quickly. These are the lifetime vice presidents.
Good to see you, boys.
I think we've got our first wagon coming. Oh, there's Howdy in giant balloon form. We're also waiting to see if we can get, oh, there it is. Let me give you 2 different views of the rodeo. We have Air 11 up over, it looks like the start of the parade. And then again, this is the corner of Walker and Travis, about 4 blocks in, 3-4 blocks in. So that's where Howdy Balloon is. And that marching band you see, I think, is coming in at the start. Because we've not seen them come through. We're just really at the beginning of the 2023 Downtown Rodeo Parade. You can see the University of Houston float just starting to get rolling. Apologies, it looks like our Air 11 shot kind of faded out there, but this is back to Walker and Travis. So we have the Howdy Balloon, and this is the Howdy Float. I think it's like required if you go to rodeo to get a picture with Howdy. I don't know how many different pictures I have in my phone. Rain or shine, heat or cold, Howdy's out there greeting folks and taking selfies. Directors of the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo getting the crowd fired up there. And just look at the crowds. Look at how packed those sidewalks are. People coming in from all over the greater Houston area to take part in this annual tradition. It's so unique, so special, bringing the community together. This is one of those things, you see everyone out at Rodeo Houston this time. Congresswoman Sheila Jackson-Lee there. She's going to be followed by Congressman Al Green. And there's Congresswoman Sylvia Garcia. Look at this. This is the HLSR Chairman's Float. It's representing all the great entertainment options at Rodeo Houston. The live concerts. With its signature rotating stage, Rodeo Houston has had more than 350 different entertainers from nearly all genres of music. If you can, text me right now. Let me know who your favorite concert has been. You can text 713-526-1111 and you just program it in your phone. 713-526-1111. Mayor Turner there, waving to the crowd. And let me know what your favorite show that you've ever seen at Rodeo Houston is. Bundy's H-Town takeover last year might be my favorite. That was pretty incredible. And it was just so uniquely Houston in such an unexpected setting. Oh, okay. Jaime's over here telling me to maybe turn this down a little bit. When the bands come through, I promise we'll turn it back up. You don't need to hear me during that portion. City of Houston Council members next. We also saw the City Controller Chris Brown on horseback there as well. Chief Finner there leading the Houston Police Department, who was sworn in as chief in 2021. Finner, did you know, he was born in Houston's 5th Ward. He grew up in Hiram Clark, been with the Houston Police Department for 31 years, working his way through the ranks from patrol officer, and most recently served as former Chief Acevedo's executive assistant chief. The Mounted Patrol was there as well. Fire Department, Chief Peña was on one of those horses. He was sworn in December 2016. All right, so this is the parade float and the parade committee. It's highlighting another entertainment option, the carnival. Big draw for kids, adults. I'm really there for the carnival food and the games. I'm not going to get on those rides necessarily because, frankly, they terrify me, but to each their own. All right, here's the University of Houston Cougar Band coming up. We saw them at the starting line a little earlier. I'm going to turn my mic off so that we can enjoy, well, are they playing? They're not playing just yet. But this is the University of Houston Spirit of Houston Cougar Marching Band, proud to participate in this year's rodeo parade. All right, that band is the largest spirit group in the University of Houston. The group includes the Cougar Dolls, the Cheer Squad, the Cougar Percussion, the Frontiersmen, and the UH-ROTC Color Guard. Here's the University of Houston Alumni Association and President's Float. Got Shasta up there. I think up next, we're waiting on Sheriff Ed Gonzalez, who is the 30th Sheriff of Harris County. Took on that role in 2016. He was reelected in 2020. Here we go. Here's a live look at the starting line from Air 11, so you can see the side-by-side. That aerial view is, I believe, from just behind the starting line as floats are getting ready to launch. And the other camera on the left side of your screen is from Walker and Travis, just a couple of blocks in. I also want to say, if you need to pop out of here at any time, if you can't sit here and enjoy the whole parade with us, be sure to watch later. You can watch it here on KHOU.com or via KHOU 11 Plus. We'll have the parade in its entirety, and then also reporter Brittany Ford is down there, and she'll be reporting for the later afternoon. There he is. There's Sheriff Gonzalez. Also a number of Harris County officials on horseback: the county clerk, county judge Lena Hidalgo, district attorney, county treasurer, and Harris County Constable Adrian Garcia. Looks like Garcia's leading the way. And they're followed by the Harris County Sheriff Mounted Patrol, which was founded in 1949 under Sheriff Buster Kern. The Mounted Patrol continues today to serve the citizens of Harris County under the leadership of Sheriff Gonzalez. Each rider provides his own horse and must complete a basic mounted patrol school to become a member of the unit. They're deployed to assist with large gatherings, missing people, protests, and crime reduction needs. What you're looking at now is the Harris County Sheriff's Office Junior Mounted Posse. These junior deputies range in age from 6 to 18, and the posse's in its 71st year. Our competitors over at ABC 13, their wagon there. We do have a KHOU 11 morning news wagon. It's a little bit down the way, so we're going to keep an eye out for that. Ah, yes, the street cleaners. There were a lot of horses so far, so for very obvious reasons. Got to clean some things up, make way for the bands and the floats to follow. While we're doing that, let's take a live look from Air 11. You can see the trail rides starting to come in, the wagons there. I had never been out to cover the trail rides. I've been aware of them. Obviously at KHOU 11, we've covered them year after year, especially as they arrive in Memorial Park. That's usually the easiest spot, you know, because they're all converging from all over the greater Houston area. I mean, some of these groups travel more than 100 miles to get here. It's pretty incredible, but this was my first year out with them. So I was tagging along with the Texas Independence, the Southwestern, the Sam Houston, and the Prairie View trail rides. I just got to learn so much about why these folks do what they do every year, and some have been doing it for decades upon decades. Costs have gone up. If you've been with us since the beginning of our stream, Matt Doherty talked to a lot of the trail riders coming into Memorial Park about how much costs have gone up. You know, how much it costs to shoe a horse, how much it costs to feed the horse, how much you have to prepare yourself, because, you know, it's Houston in February. It can be any one of the 4 seasons, sometimes all in a day. So they have to pack and prepare, bring all their food for the trek, a lot that goes into it, not to mention the time they're taking off work if they're not retired. The horse wagons, all of it is an incredible commitment. You're looking at the Rodeo Scholars float now. This is honoring rodeo scholars past and present, spanning more than 60 years. And the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo Scholarship Program, it began with 1 scholarship in 1957. Think about this. Since the show was established in 1932, more than $550 million has been committed to Texas students and their education. It's really phenomenal. So when you heard from the committee chairman earlier who said, I volunteer, he actually volunteers on 3 different committees, so that any money saved by the rodeo gets to be diverted to scholarship, education grants, more than $550 million since 1932. That's what rodeo is really all about. I have heard some people say the cost of rodeo, it's expensive to take your family. A couple tips as we get ready for the United States Marine Corps Reserve Band, New Orleans. March 8th is Community Day. It is the first day that rodeo has done this. But before noon, all admission is free. And this ends today, but today, if you go to rodeo, you can get half-price carnival packs, which will save you a good chunk of cash as well. Okay, I'm gonna turn off my mic so we can hear from the United States Marine Corps Reserve Band, New Orleans. Next is the Armed Services Appreciation Committee flag bearers. Just a heads up that Armed Forces Appreciation Day at this year's show is Wednesday, March 1st, and then First Responders Day is Monday, March 7th. So for Armed Forces Appreciation Day, the committee is going to host thousands of joint service, actively serving troops, Gold Star mothers, combat wounded heroes and their families, plus veterans of World War II, Korea, Vietnam, and more recent deployments. This is the United States Army Horse Cavalry. Fort Hood's Horse Cavalry Detachment maintains the standards and traditions of the U.S. Cavalry during the 1880s. These are United States Army recruiters passing out American flags. They're from the U.S. Army Recruiting Battalion in Houston. This is the Fiesta Marts float. Fiesta is a Texas-born tradition, right? It's been around for more than 50 years. With more than 60 stores in the Houston, Austin, and Dallas-Fort Worth markets, Fiesta is bringing fresh produce, seafood, fresh baked goods at pretty good prices. So the employees that you see on the float, they've been together working at Fiesta for about 200 years. 200 years in Houston, serving the Houston community. This is the Westbury High School Band. I'm gonna turn my mic off so we can enjoy. just behind the Westbury High School Marching Band and the Blue Diamonds drill team, you have the Girl Scouts of San Jacinto with a reminder that, guys, yeah, it is Girl Scout cookie season. Do you have a favorite? Mine, so I come from Oregon. Up there, they're called Samoas. Down here, they're called something else. Caramel Delights, I want to say. Those are my favorite Girl Scout cookies. Close second, Thin Mints. You can text 713-526-1111 to let me know which boxes of cookies you're gonna buy. Look at them. Look at them all on display on that float. Okay, yeah, the one I'm talking about when I say Samoas, or I think it's called Caramel Delights, is that top one. That top one, it's chocolate and caramel and coconut with chocolate drizzle, and it is delicious. But I don't really think you can go wrong with any of them, right? They're all delicious. I think this is the Lone Star Cowgirls riding group and our competitors over at Channel 2 over there. We've got Goya Foods coming up next. Won the award for most beautiful. Goya was founded in 1936 and is the largest Hispanic-owned food company in the United States. Riding on the float are members of the Goya Cares family and Miss Texas Latina role models. Also worth noting, Goya's donated millions of pounds of food to victims of disasters worldwide, really taking the lead in relief efforts and providing food donations in times of crisis. It also works with local food banks, charities, and nonprofits to help feed our community. Now, I think we missed a band in here somewhere. We saw Westbury, saw the Girl Scouts. Here I'm going through my binder. I don't know that we've seen the St. Thomas Episcopal High School Band. Who's this back here? This is the SP Waltrip High School Band, 120 members of the Roaring Red Ram Band, and the drill team there, 42 members. They are the Rambling Roses. Let's hear it for the Roaring Red Ram Band. This is the Saltgrass Trail Association that you are watching roll up right now. They have 1,000 riders in their trail ride, making it from Cat Spring, Texas. This is the granddaddy of them all when we're talking about trail rides. It's the original ride from which all the others were inspired or spun off. It brought mules and horses back into popularity and created a whole new generation of organized trail riding. 2023, this year, is the 72nd annual Saltgrass Trail Ride. Pretty incredible. So it's wild when you think about 1,000 is pretty big, all of these folks coming in from Cat Spring, but it actually was 2,000 members strong before people started splitting off, and now this year we have 10 different trail rides. The largest I tagged along with this year was 350 people, and that was huge. So to see 1,000, pretty neat. And again, these are all people who bring their own wagons, who bring their own horses, who have to figure out if they're, tent camping or staying in an RV, horse trailers for the horses, food for the horses, food for themselves. It's an incredible investment. But you see that little one on the back of the horse there waving. Talking to some of the kids who are a part of this, they told me it was their opportunity every year to meet up with friends that they don't see, except for this time, every year. And they all get together and ride. And they told me the thing they love the most is seeing people wave to them along the route. So I know it's too late this year, but next year, when you see them, wave. You will make a kid's day, and every single one of these rides has kids along with them, even little itty bitty ones. I love all the themes too. So what you're seeing in these different wagons, they're all kind of teams within the trail ride. They all have a wagon boss, maybe an assistant wagon boss. Yeah, so those are the Desperados. Texas Outlaws. Something unique about trail rides, these folks don't necessarily live in the Houston area. A lot of them are coming in. I talked to a fella who came in from Colorado to be a part of this. He'd done it for years, moved out of state. This is one of the few opportunities that folks get to do something like this on this huge scale and then have this tradition roll through downtown Houston, the 4th largest city in the country, for this testament to heritage to be among the skyscrapers. It's just such a unique tradition. We're only on wagon, what was that, 16 for the Saltgrass Trail Ride? Remember, I keep talking and harping on how big this group is. They have 23 wagons. 23 wagons, and who knows how many, more than 1,000. I did want to check in and see if any of y'all have texted, asked any questions. Someone said my first rodeo was last year. Khalid was the best show. So this person texting in said they will be back. And if you're watching this thinking, oh my goodness, it's already rodeo parade time. This means, we got to get going. Start planning. KHOU's got you covered as we watch the Gulf Coast Women's Equine Association riding group pass us here. Text just the word rodeo to 713-526-1111, 713-526-1111, and we will text you back several helpful links, including our guide to kind of what to know, where to park, if you don't want to park, how to get there. All of that to make your experience a little easier. Also the different days. I mentioned Community Day, first time rodeo's ever doing that on March 8th, where there's free admission for everyone until noon. Pretty incredible. That's not an opportunity we've ever had before. And, you know, it's $20 for adults to come onto grounds. When you add up to a whole family, I understand how that can get a little daunting, especially if you want to come multiple days. So maybe make that plan. Know that it will be crowded on March 8th. It's not spring break. Just so you know. But we've got you covered. Text rodeo to 713-526-1111. Someone just texted, hi. Hi. So this is the Gulf Coast Women's Equine Association Riding Group. Since 1972, they've been bringing women of all ages together based on a common thread, their love of and the well-being of the horse. So it's a social club all based around horse loving, horse learning, and riding. Oh my gosh, one of the people texting in is my friend Nate. Best carnival food at the rodeo. Nate, any of it. Any of it. There's some wild stuff, but you can also get the traditional, you know, like turkey leg. Go wild. Rodeo calories don't count. That's the rule. This is the El Ahorro Supermarket float. Ooh, fresh bread every day in the bakery area. You can tell I'm starting to get hungry because that sounds delicious. Oh, someone's watching the live stream from Austin. Hey there. Let me know, are you from Houston and you're watching, or you're just curious about what we've got going on here? It's quite the event, rodeo season in Houston. Stephen F. Austin High School Band, the Sonic Boom Band. They also have their drill team with them, the Emeralds drill team, and then the Envy Color Guard as well. Turning off my mic. We've done this enough times so you can enjoy. I love it. That band has won so many awards. There's a whole long list here. I couldn't even begin to cover all of them. What you're looking at now is the Texas A&M Parsons Mounted Cavalry. It's a horse combat unit that consists of cavalry, artillery, and quartermaster elements. Military training at A&M included mounted drill until 1943, and then the Army disbanded its horse operations. But the cavalry tradition was revived at A&M by the class of 1974. Today's unit has 65 horses and 7 mules. The team is funded by the 12th Man Foundation and Texas A&M Endowment, in case you were wondering. Thank you to the very nice person who mentioned that they're loving the coverage so far. I just really appreciate everyone's patience. We've been rolling through this. I used to do live streams here all the time, but I've been focused on a lot of other things. Haven't sat in this chair for easy 4 months, maybe 5. So I just really appreciate you guys, because I'm running all of this myself. Any video you see or saw earlier, the different sources, the audio, it's all me over here clicking and also trying to go through my binder so we know what's coming up next. McAllen, Texas. Hey there. Rodeo, the half price sales. Heads up, folks. Today is the last day to get those half price carnival packs. So if you know anyone who's selling them, I'm sure they're posting about it on social media. Hit them up, because if you are planning to go, especially with a family, that will save you a lot of money. Like, I see world champion. There's orange and blue. Is that the Astros? This is the Richmond State School wagon, representing the Richmond State School in a distinctive black and pink wagon belonging to the Hayriders Club. Ah, this is the float of the world champs. This is the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo International Committee float. Love the Astros star up there, the blue and orange. This committee is led by Chairman Randy Pauley, and the committee members provide international guests with a special brand of Texas hospitality while visiting the show. Oh, this is the Heights High School band. All hush. Don't know if you counted there, but there were 130 members of the Marching Bulldogs, the Heights High School Marching Bulldog Band there. That band actually won the Ronald Thornton Rodeo Parade High School Spirit Award back in 2018. Please give a very warm welcome to our special friends coming in all the way from Hawaii, attending the Houston Rodeo Parade for the second consecutive year. We've got representatives from Hawaii, Maui, Oahu, Kauai, Molokai, Lanai. I think it's Nihau, Kahulawe. Their traditional dress is beautiful. They're all wearing the colors of their islands and the flowers representing their islands. Gorgeous. As we wait for the float that received the Chairman's Award, just another note, if you want to get prepped for rodeo, text the word rodeo to 713-526-1111. 713-526-1111, just text the word rodeo. Oh, someone just texted in. As we look at the Houston Community College wagon, did you know HCC is one of the country's largest singly accredited open admission community colleges offering associate degrees, certificates, workforce training, and life learning opportunities? Quite an asset we have in our community. My first rodeo that I remember had a visit from singers, actors Roy Rogers and Dale Evans. That was a few years ago, riding their beautiful horses, Trigger and Buttermilk, around the arena, shaking hands with all the children. And another year were the cowboys from Bonanza, Pa Haas, Adam, and Little Joe. A bit different now, but the spirit of trail rides and hard work by all the cowboys and the family fun is still there. Go rodeo. I love that. What an incredible memory. Here comes the Aldine Mustang Marching Band, 130 members strong. This band won Best in Class at festivals in Los Angeles, Orlando, Washington, D.C., and Colorado. Now the Riders in the Sky, the Houston Airport Rangers. This is the world's only volunteer horse patrol at an airport. Why is it in Houston? Of course, right? Like, where else would it be? The Rangers payroll the 13,000 acre perimeter or patrol, not payroll, patrol the 13,000-acre perimeter of Bush Airport. Of course, Houston airports, we've got 3 of them: Bush, Hobby, and Ellington Houston Spaceport. There we go. Ellington Field, IAH, and I'm pretty sure HOU might be on the other side. Do y'all have a preferred airport? I like them for different reasons. Hobby I like because it's small, it's quick. Bush I love because if you want to eat anything, Bush has it. It's the Special Friends Brigade, in case you're wondering. It was created to provide an extraordinary and special experience on Parade Day for the Houston community's physically and mentally challenged children and adults. This year, over 2,000 friends and senior citizens with special needs will be hosted by that committee. Look at them all go. If you didn't happen to see it last year, I spotlighted the Special Children's Community, and this is an organization that puts on the Little Rustlers Rodeo, Top Hands Horse Show, which I believe is happening this weekend, like today, and Sensory Friendly Day, when they, mute some of the lights and sounds in the carnival for kids who might have sensitivities to loud noises or bright lights. And it's just a really incredible committee that gives an opportunity for a lot of these kids to enjoy the rodeo in such a unique way. They get to, like at Little Rustlers Rodeo, they get paired with a cowboy and they get to do a bunch of cowboy activities. There are 3 different nights for that. I can't remember the exact dates offhand, but we do have them listed on KHOU.com. I did a story on Little Rustler. Actually, I did a story on all 3 days last year. If you want to look that up. Here comes the Mighty Stampede Band from Thurgood Marshall High School in Missouri City. Always so incredible to see these kids out here. The Mighty Stampede Band, in case you're wondering, it's won multiple awards, including a superior rating at the U.S. Bands Contest, UIL Region 13 concert, and sight reading, as well as a Roland Parish Battle of the Band finalist. As they get a little closer to our camera here at Walker and Travis, I'll turn it up. Sorry about that, y'all. I pressed a button. Someone texted in and made a good point asking about our camera shot and pointed out that a lot of the bands won't necessarily perform on a corner. This is the only camera we have. I mean, I do have Air 11. I can give you a split view here in a second. But you still wouldn't be able to hear the bands. And this is just where, we're allowed to set up. Maybe next year we'll have multiple cameras. I will tell you, we do have Brittany Ford down there reporting downtown, talking to fans, getting all that excitement, and she's gonna have that full story later this evening. I know, far from ideal. But right now, we're just excited to have the 2023 Downtown Rodeo Parade rolling through. You know, we did without for a little bit, that tradition. So it's nice to have a touch of that back. Houston born and raised in Denver Harbor, watching from Knoxville, Tennessee. Hey there. Oh, my friend Nate saying we love the process. I appreciate you, Nate. I think we've got the Northeastern Trail Ride approaching. But it could be, I think we missed a couple earlier. You never know how a morning's gonna go. Things kind of get out of whack. That definitely doesn't look like a trail ride. That looks like a float. Saw the brigade. Sorry, just digging through my notes. Maybe the side of the float will say. We'll learn together, guys. Oh, there we go. Have you ever seen how these floats are made? It's really cool. There are entire warehouses devoted to making these things. I remember years ago reporting from the Rose Parade in the days leading up to it, and just the incredible work and the size and scope of some of these floats, absolutely incredible. Also here, looking at the Thanksgiving, the HEB Thanksgiving Day Parade, which you can also watch on KHOU 11. All the preparations for that and the new floats that they debut every year. Well, I'm gathering that they're a fire department, but beyond that, I don't have much more on those folks. Here's the Northeastern Trail Ride. 9 wagons participating for 28 years, and this year had about 55 riders. And so when we were talking about the Saltgrass Trail Ride, and we were talking about more than 1,000 riders, you see how big that is in comparison to most of them. I think the second largest is Prairie View, and that's 350. So Saltgrass is more than 2 times the size of the second largest. If you're wondering where they start, that would be Cheeks, Texas. I think they're on my list for next year. Pull up a little trail ride info. You've got Northeastern, Prairie View, Saltgrass, Sam Houston, Southwest, Southwestern, Texas Cattlemen's, Texas Independence, the Spanish, and Valley Lodge. Northeastern travels 111 miles from Cheeks, Texas. And they started last Sunday, February 19th. That is a long trek on the back of a horse. It's really sweet. I joined the Camp for Texas Independence, I want to say Tuesday. And I mean, any horse lover, any horse owner will tell you, you take care of the horse first. This horse has put in a lot of work. And so they made sure that the horses got, you know, oh, there's our KHOU 11, Mrs. Baird's wagon. I see David Paul, Jen Reyna, Jason Bristol, Mia Gradney, Len Cannon. Hey y'all. Love their hats. I debated wearing a hat for this live stream. Why not? When else am I gonna get the chance? And I forgot it in my car. And this morning was already too chaotic. I wasn't about to pop back out there. It does look a little warm. It does look a little warm. This is the Charros on Parade riding group. About a dozen of them, a little more, keeping the Mexican tradition alive in Houston. Y'all know this one.
Gracias, Houston, por 37 años. Thank you for 37 years serving the Hispanic community here in Houston. More than 100 stores. We give you thanks.
It's like I was gonna let her keep going. It's my favorite place to go for any like taco meat. It's pre-seasoned. It's so good. So good. The whole meat section of the supermarket is wonderful. Up next, the Mighty Eagle Band, along with the Enchanting Wings dance team from Willow Ridge High School. Say hello to the Trailblazer Committee. Oh, okay, good to go. We're gonna lose our view of the from the chopper here. It's kind of gone in and out. There you can see the festivities on the end. Take you back downtown. This is the Black History Writers of America. This group was formed in 1992 in Houston by Mr. Smitty Johnson. It's the only trail riding club that rides in honor of Black History Month. The purpose is to make Americans aware of the existence of Black history and Black culture, and there are a couple historically Black trail rides associated with the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. Prairie View is the oldest of those. All right, this is the float for Sellers Brothers grocery stores in Houston. While we watch that move very, very slowly, someone texted in and said, watch Yellowstone. Pretty sure one of those riders looked like Rip. I have seen a lot of Rip resembling cowboys over my week riding with the trail riders. I have to tell you. Watching from Michigan, born and raised in Houston, Texas. Thank you for joining us. And hey there, Austin. Going back to our conversation about Girl Scout cookies, someone mentioned s'mores cookies are their favorite. I didn't know that was an option. I'm gonna try to see if we can find them in our area while you guys enjoy the Elsik High School Band. This is the Mighty Ram Band. I'm still getting down. But we'll move on to the Texas Cattlemen's Trail Ride. Trail boss Cliff Wilson here, assistant trail boss Fred Miller. This is a smaller one, about 3 wagons. They cover 60 miles and have about 35 riders. This is what it's all about too, right? I know I've mentioned this so many times, but that was the biggest takeaway for me in talking to people who have done this rides for so many years. One, it's the community and the family that they build on their trail ride. But then also seeing the community's reaction. Now, admittedly, the community can be a little cranky when lanes of traffic are blocked. Next year, when the trail rides come around, have a little patience. Chick-fil-A wagon there. But to see this, to see kids get so excited, families so excited, to be part of what is a family tradition in Houston for so many years is what leads them to do it. This is the Downtown Rotary Club of Houston riders from the fastest growing club in Rotary International. If you're not familiar, the Rotary motto is service above self. Next, the Energize for Excellence Academy system floats. EEA is an open enrollment charter network of schools serving kids from pre-K to K3 and 12 grades. The Ocean of Thunder Imperial Marching Band is up next. Let's give it a listen. All right, that was the Ocean of Thunder Imperial Marching Band from James Madison High School. It's so funny because I keep being compelled to be like, let's give them a round of applause, but it's just me sitting over here by myself. So if you want to applaud, cheer them on at home, please do it. Please do it. I know they've got a lot of encouragement there along the streets as well. Coming up next, Telemundo Houston. the official Spanish language station of the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. You guys can keep your questions and texts coming. 713-526-1111. I'll try to answer them as I can. I'm honestly debating hopping on a Facebook Live afterward to show you like what looks like a very simple thing, which is a live view of the Downtown Rodeo Parade going over our website. It's a little more chaotic than that on the other side of the lens. This is the Los Patrios de Houston Riding Group, a professional team formed in 2010. Oh my gosh. It was formed by Mr. Jose Perez Sr., and the group consists of senior sons and a bunch of other people. And you can see those adorable littles who were out there as well. That is a beautiful horse. I wish my hair looked that good today. Kroger's float is up next. The theme is Feed the Human Spirit. The company's Zero Hunger, Zero Waste initiative was designed to end hunger in our communities and waste in Kroger stores by 2025. Has there been a 4-H float? Not that I've seen so far. Hold on, let me scan this list. There are more than 100 different floats. I'm not seeing a 4-H one. But while we take a listen to the Golden Eagle Marching Band from Klein Forest, I'm going to do a little deeper dive. In fact, So it does not look like there is a 4-H float this year, not on this list, because we're nearing the end. There are only about 10 entries left in this year's parade. This is the Texas Escaramuza Team Riding Group, representing the 22 competitive Texas teams who compete annually at the state and national level. They're performing a routine on horseback riding side-saddled while wearing traditional Mexican garments. Those dresses are gorgeous. Next, we have the Taiwan's Pride. It's sponsored by the Taipei Economic and Cultural Office in Houston and the Joint Chinese College Alumni Association in Southern USA. We talked about the International Committee. If you're not aware, you might be amazed to learn how many people come from so many different countries for so many reasons. There's a lot of business deals that are happening at rodeo, a lot of livestock stuff. I'm not going to go into the nitty-gritty, but there's some deals happening is all I'll say. I believe this is the Gated Horses of Texas Riding Group. Their first ever appearance at the Houston Rodeo Parade. The group was founded in 2022, and currently has 170 members. The President's Award goes to the Texas Southern University Float. TSU is celebrating 95 years as a leading education institution. Achieving excellence, there it says, since 1927. We just did a story this past week, Matt Doherty did, on TSU's baseball and softball teams, which had historically played at city parks. They didn't have fields of their own, but that's changing because of the Houston Astros Foundation. The Houston Astros Foundation is providing money to build fields for the TSU baseball and softball teams. I think this might be our last band. This is the Alief Hastings Big Bear Band. 120 members strong on the band side, 20 for the drill team. And they are celebrating 50 years. All right, the band followed up by the Valley Lodge Trail Ride. This one is coming in from Brookshire, traveled about 75 miles, and it started last Saturday. So it's taken a week for them to get into Memorial Park and join us this morning for the Downtown Rodeo Parade. Someone mentioned, I'm so sorry, I did an introduction when we first started this live stream 35 minutes ago. I'm Brandi Smith. I'm the digital anchor here at KHOU 11. If you watch Hidden Gems, those are mine. I also produce and anchor a lot of the specials we do on KHOU 11 Plus or KHOU.com where you're watching this. So for example, if you really wanted to get into the rodeo spirit, you can either go on KHOU 11 Plus, KHOU.com, or KHOU 11 YouTube channel and watch we call it a rewind special on the 2022 Rodeo Houston season. So there's all of our coverage from last year plus a look ahead toward this year, like some of those the special days, Armed Forces Day, First Responders Day, Community Day, Sensory Friendly Day. We have all of that information. And then I'll hammer it home. If you want to text us the word rodeo to 713-526-1111, 713-526-1111. We'll send you back a link with all of our rodeo coverage. So there's a guide, basically a how-to if you are not a regular or maybe it's your first time. Parking information, prices, hours, events, schedules. Over the course of the next 3 weeks, Houston turns into Rodeo Central, and getting around NRG Park can be a little bit of a challenge if you're not prepared. I think we have transitioned into the Sam Houston Trail Ride. Now, I tagged along with them from Pinehurst to Tomball, and in Tomball, a smaller version of this, but they stopped for a parade. And so kids, grandparents who've been coming for years got to stop and see it all. This is the Southwest Trail Ride representing. They come in from Rosenberg, covering 120 miles. We're just rolling right through. This is almost the end, folks. think this is the Spanish Trail. We'll see right. Nope, this is still the Southwest Trail Ride. With 7 different wagons. They have almost 300 riders. And I think I said this already, but they covered 120 miles since last Saturday. And they are hyped for the parade. Hello in New Braunfels, thank you for tuning in. We're hoping to make this an annual tradition. This is the first time we've streamed the parade. So next year, I know some folks have asked, like, why don't you have more cameras or more angles and bands don't perform on corners? We're learning as we go. And I truly do appreciate everyone who is tuned in. It's such a neat tradition to be a part of and to see, whether you're sitting on the sidewalk in downtown Houston, watching from your home here, or watching from anywhere else. New Braunfels, Michigan. I think there was someone in the Valley who was watching. Now this is the Spanish Trail. This is the Spanish Trail Ride, not the old Spanish Trail Ride. So this is 125 riders on 9 wagons. They come in from Shepherd, Texas. "109 miles. I've harped on this, but I hope you've earned an appreciation for what these folks do, for what they give up, for what they sacrifice, for how much they prepare, for all of it. To be here and to be a part of the parade and a part of this tradition. Let's welcome the Prairie View Trail Ride. Trail boss Murtis Deitman Jr., his dad, Murtis Deitman Sr., is one of the founders of the trail ride. I learned that when I got to talk to him on Wednesday. This is the 66th consecutive year participating in the Livestock Show and Rodeo Parade. They won Top Trail Award in 2019. This is also the oldest African American trail ride in the United States. 350 riders, 9 different wagons, covering about 90 miles from Hempstead. I caught up with them in Cypress, right there off Mason Road, and it was really cute because so many kids were out there. You know, they don't get a chance to see horses like this very often, and the riders are so generous. Like watching the Prairie View Trail Riders and the Sam Houston Trail Riders, you know, they'll lift kids up on the horse so mom and dad can get all the pictures they want and answer questions, and they're understanding when kids are a little hesitant around horses. Think about how muscular and how powerful these animals are, and so docile. Again, every wagon is kind of its own faction within the trail ride. So this is its own group, its own wagon boss, all that. Hey, Austin. Just got a text in from someone watching from over there. I hope you guys will stick around after the parade. I wanted to do a little bit more rodeo coverage because Tiffany Craig has some great tips on how to kind of do rodeo on a budget. And I think we're all looking for that these days. I mean, rodeo is great, rodeo is fun, rodeo costs money. So if you're looking for some tips and tricks on how to save, I'm gonna share Tiffany Craig's package, her story that she did earlier this week. Also, I would love to take credit, but my colleague Keith Tomshe found a story done, I want to say in 1976, about the history of rodeo and just some of the video from it. It makes you really understand and appreciate how long this event has been a part of the Houston community. And I know a lot of you grew up here, generations have lived in Houston. But this is also a city that brings in so many people. Texas brings in so many people. And so for me, 8 years ago, it was definitely a new experience, to be sure. I think we've got Texas Independence coming up next. This is another crew I rode along with. They get going early. They started last Saturday in Lamarck. And they started in 1961. If you joined us before the parade started rolling, I introduced you to KHOU, who has been with the Texas Independence Ride ever since it started. He said I want to say 12, maybe 13 at the time, and he had seen them on TV. He told his dad he wanted to do a trail ride, and his dad just dropped him off. And he's been doing it ever since. I don't think it's that wagon, but I hopped on a fella named Roger's wagon. The wagon itself, the base of it, is 150 years old. 150 years old. You'll see Roger. There it is. Roger comes in from Louisiana every year. I got to hang with him at camp. He busted out the accordion, was making gumbo. It was definitely Tuesday because it was Mardi Gras. And his crew was celebrating. It's just fun to learn about all the different personalities who are a part of this. So after Texas Independence, we've got the Southwestern Trail Ride coming through. This one I told you guys about earlier too. It is the only trail ride with a woman as trail boss and a woman as assistant trail boss, rallying the 250 riders they have to come in from West Columbia, Texas. Don't be ashamed if you do not know where that is. It is way out there in South Brazoria County. There we go, there's Southwestern. I think that's Rosetta there. She just went out of frame. Rosetta Gray is the trail boss. You see the guys in the vests. They're the scouts. So they're the ones who are running up and down along the trail ride as it's moving down the freeway. Getting cars past, making sure it's clear up ahead. It's a very important job when these folks are, coming in on 290 or along I-10, 249. One thing every trail boss mentioned to me is that You know, so many of them started decades ago, 50, 60 years ago. And it's been harder to find places for them to camp because the areas are getting developed. Even out in West Columbia, which is west of Angleton, you're starting to see developments go in. And so the giant spaces that some of these larger rides need just aren't available anymore. You know, it has to be good ground because a lot of times it's raining, slushing, you name it, during this week. So good ground, a lot of ground, and access for the animals, for the horse wagons, for the horse trailers, the wagons, RVs, all the riders' personal vehicles. It's a big ask. And so thank you to any of the property owners out there who got a call from a trail boss last year and said that they were welcome to stay on the land. That is a wrap on the 2023 Downtown Rodeo Parade, kicking things off for the 2023 rodeo season. I'm going to ask you again to send me your favorite thing about rodeo. You can text it to 713-526-1111. Do I have this number memorized? I absolutely do. 713-526-1111. Hold on, let me pull it up. Here we go. You can also text the word rodeo to 713-526-1111. A lot of different keywords you can text to rodeo. You can text weather, you can text traffic, and we'll send you back relevant links that will help in your search, or at least get you started in the right place. We've had so many of you guys text rodeo and get those links because we have a guide that kind of steps you through everything. Come back on camera here. Hi. For those of you who are still with us, I'm Brandi Smith, digital anchor at KHOU 11. I apologize, I didn't mention that more. You just heard like a voice, but you didn't really want to see me. You didn't need to know who I was. You were here to watch the parade, to help celebrate this tradition we do every year that we're so glad to have back and be a part of the Houston community after a little time off. But text me what your favorite thing about rodeo is. And while you think about it, I want to give you something to think about. How to save money at the rodeo.
Rodeo on the cheap. It really can be done. You already know to get into NRG Park, it's $20 for adults and $10 for children, but there are some deals that you can find as well. Here's one, but it ends on Saturday. You can buy half-price carnival coupon packs to use for rides and food. A $10 pack has a $50 value, and a $50 pack has a $160 value. Another tip is buying a base price rodeo ticket. Half of the shows going on here still have the $25 tickets for sale. That way you can get into the park, you can do everything at the carnival, and see the rodeo and the concert. Don't forget about discount days. Mark your calendar for these. Armed Forces Appreciation Day is March 1st, and First Responders Day is the 6th. Just remember to bring your ID and get into NRG Park for free, along with 4 family members. And March 8th, that's Community Day. You get free admission until noon. There are also discounts for carnival rides, and some food and drinks are cheaper as well. I know I just gave you a lot of information, but you can get it sent directly to your phone. Text the word rodeo to 713-526-1111, and we will send all the information back so you have it in the palm of your hand. Tiffany Craig.
See, Tiffany knows what's up. That was Tiffany Craig reporting. I wanted to go through some of the texts that you guys have sent in. Someone said their favorite thing about rodeo was the Heights Band and cheerleading group who came through. Someone else said loved learning about the trail rides, the wine garden. I don't know you, but I feel you. Last year's featured region was Washington State, and the Rustler Red, something like that, it was a red blend, was the featured wine from the featured region. Just the ability to learn about all that stuff from the folks at the wine garden, so cool. I think it's something like 11,000 wines are submitted to the wine committee for judging, and only so many get to make it to the wine garden, like the best of the best. So if you've never popped in there, they're also doing brunch this year. We have a whole list of what's new on KHOU.com. Go to KHOU.com/rodeo. We have all the coverage we've done. Trail rides, cook-off, tickets, Tiffany Craig's pieces on how to save you money and how to get around. We got it all. So I'm reading some more of the comments. Taking my kids to see the longhorns and the rabbits. The birthing center is my personal favorite. If you haven't been, Ag Venture, it's free once you're on the grounds. So it's on the eastern end of NRG Center, like closer to Fannin. And they have pigs, horses, sheep, and goats? Pretty sure they had goats. No, they don't have sheep. Anyway, it's the only exhibit that grows every year because they have pregnant goats, pigs, and cows. So you can go by and see baby goats, calves, all that. Michigan, thank you for tuning in. Trail rides is a favorite, especially from the Southwest. Grew up in El Campo. Gotcha. I think that's it. Oh, Owen and Kennedy are watching from Seattle, Washington. Hey! I always tell people, I grew up in Southern Oregon, so a lot of people think of Oregon and think of Portland. Southern Oregon is definitely not. Portland, it's much more agricultural, so where I grew up is a town of 100. And on one side, my grandfather had sheep, and on the other side, our neighbors had horses and cows, so that's what I grew up with. But still, coming to the rodeo and seeing something the size and scope of this event, nothing can prepare you for it. My dad came down, he was helping me fix up my house in 2018, so I took him to rodeo, and as you can imagine, our closest big town is 20,000. You have to drive an hour to get to a town of 200,000, so it was a little different for him when you think about that city being, or rodeo itself on a given day being much, much larger than even the closest large city to where I grew up. I'm trying to get my mom down. Also, my sister, because my nephew, who is 2, his first word was dirter, which is what he calls tractors. He loves tractors so much, and he sees a lot of them in the part of the Portland area where he lives. It's kind of, I don't know, kind of Pearland, like Pearland to Houston is what Canby is to Portland. So he still gets to see a lot of tractors, but trying to get him to come down here because it would blow his mind. Someone just texted, being a part of this tradition is something to smile about. I grew up with it, then took my children to watch the trail riders come into Houston, and now my grandchildren. Going to the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo is definitely a family tradition. Best part, watching the smiles on the children. It's so true. At the Tomball Train Depot, when the Sam Houston Trail Ride came in, the way kids lit up. And I was sitting there for about 45 minutes before the trail ride got there, and kids were like staking out a spot. They were so excited, and then you could see them in the distance. Obviously, they're not fast moving. You saw in the parade, but it's just really, really neat. I'm gonna give you back the rest of your day with one more thing to show you. I'd mentioned that my colleague Keith Tomshe found, I think it was 1976. That is the date I burned on it. It's 1976 adjacent, most likely, but this is the history of the rodeo as told in 1976.
The first Houston show was held in 1932 in the hall that had been built at Walker and Bagby for the 1928 Democratic National Convention. It was called the Fat Stock Show until Americans got so self-conscious about fat. It was still the Fat Stock Show when it moved to the Sam Houston Coliseum, completed in 1938 on the site where the old convention hall had been. The main factors that propelled this show to the front rank, where it's been now for years, were the headliners from show business, beginning with Gene Autry in 1952 and including Elvis Presley in 1970, and the trail ride phenomenon that started with 4 people in 1952, and the steady support of the city's wealthy citizens who saw to it over the years that the exhibitors of champion animals here got the kind of rewards that got the attention of breeders and stockmen everywhere. The show was outgrowing the Coliseum by the late 1950s, and that's what caused the county government to start the process that produced what is now the Astrodome complex. The show moved there in 1966.
And there have been a few changes since then. Now we have NRG Stadium, which hosts all of the rodeo events and the concerts, NRG Center, which is home to a lot of the livestock, ag venture vendors, and then NRG Arena, which is again home to a lot of the livestock competitions, including the horse show, which is happening right now. I wanted to wrap up with Charlotte's comment, who says, I enjoy everything about the rodeo. I'm a Houston fan and I'm Texas grown. Very cool. All right, if you need anything rodeo, text the word rodeo to 713-526-1111. It's that easy. Just program that number in your phone as KHOU, because you don't have to just text keywords like rodeo or weather or traffic or anything like that. You can just text us if you have a question about a story that we did, if you have a comment to add, if you have a story you want to tell us about. It's also how you can submit photos and special events for our Celebrates segment. Text a picture with the name of the person you're celebrating, why you're celebrating, and we share those on our Celebrate segments during the week as well. So thank you all so much for tuning in. I hope you are ready to rodeo, because if not, you got about 3 days. Have a wonderful weekend.